This episode is brought to you by fasttrack.hk, the new way of looking at horse racing. Fast Track is also the home of Racing Bitch, the most provocative and irreverent horse racing site in the world, and with the largest number of followers. Fast Track is about horse racing, fashion, music, entertainment, and everything in between. So follow Fast Track on Twitter. Is FASTTRACKHK, and also visit www.fasttrack.hk. All right, so this episode was a very, very, very fun one for me. I had my really good friend Jeff Anello from the Anello voted Hong Kong's best band and hottest band of last year, and also they're nominated for this year again. So this was a really, really, really cool one. He shared some really good band promoting strategies and stuff like that. And I really hope you guys enjoy this one as much as I did. So without further ado, here's my conversation with the one and only Jeff Anello from the Anello. What's up? All right, man. So I'm gonna tell you what I always liked since I met you, right? So we met each other, and it was work right away, and then we sort of became friends right after that. But it was work at the beginning. And what you have always done is so different. It's original. I cannot think of anything that sounds like it. And the most important thing is that, like, now that I put the beginning and your present, the project has grown so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. What's going on with the Anello right now?
Well, the Anello is essentially a solo project that is going to encompass the same things that the previous projects had encompassed, which is electronic pop R&B. With some fun hip hop vibes that go along with it. But the beautiful part is now I'm gonna be doing some new projects on top of just the music, and some of that might be me going out and meeting more people, finding ways to connect and make deeper relationships with some friends that I've had in the past, like you.
Yeah.
Coming over here and being able to chat with you has been really fun and really awesome. Even off air, we've even had really good chats.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking for like half an hour. Right?
But I haven't seen you in about a year or so.
Yeah.
And so you've done wonderful things upgrading everything here.
Yeah.
And I just want to keep in touch with a lot of these people. And I think that's kind of the biggest takeaway about being solo. I think it's easy when you're in a band to kind of find a way to be friends with those people and then maybe set your schedule around hanging with those people and doing some things. And there's a comfort zone.
Yeah.
I've been thrusted into this opportunity with no comfort zone. There's no net.
But man, I think it's so important to have no net.
Yeah.
Like when you know that there's something that if you fuck up, like you'll still be fine, then it's you feel comfortable.
Right.
But there's something about knowing that if you don't get it right, you are done.
Thanks.
That triggers this primal thing in you that makes you do better things.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting with how the progression has happened.
Yeah.
I mean, we met 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I think about with a project called Bella Electra.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was some really amazing musicians that were in that project that I'm really blessed to have been working with for I think it was around 2 years.
Yeah. So if we go back to like the beginning of
Oh, you mean like when I was in high school? And I was in a band that didn't have any musicians.
Okay, you know what? Let's really go back. Okay, how did you begin with music?
You know, it's a tough way to explain it, but the easiest way is when I was growing up, my mother, who is a single parent, and I'm an only child,
Yeah.
would always tell me when I would take a bath to sing in the shower or sing in the bath, just so that when she's doing things around the house and cleaning up, she knows that I'm alive.
Yeah. That you didn't drown in
Right,
the
that I didn't drown and that I'm not dead. Because if I stop making noise, she's concerned. So that's really kind of how it started, where she gave me the freedom to just make noise and sing. And
And where was this?
this was in New York.
Okay.
Yeah, I was born and raised in New York for 6 years of my life, 7 years of my life, and then moved down to South Carolina.
All right.
And
It's usually the other way around.
it is, but that was in the 80s and early 90s, and it was quite dangerous there.
Okay.
And my mom just didn't want to deal with that, and so
Yeah.
we moved down to the South. And that's actually where I met my friend, who again, we started a band, but we're not musicians. We
Yeah.
don't play anything. Even to this day, I still don't read music.
Yeah.
Music theory is still a theory to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. It hasn't become a concept that I've understood. So we just sang, and we won some competitions doing that together. And
But you were both singing?
both singing, backing tracks, you
Okay.
know, yeah, something simple, and then we just sang over that. And then I think around 9 or 10 years old, I got a karaoke machine, and that's set it off. I had 2 cassette tapes. One would play the song, one would record it, and then I would sing along with a lot of the other stuff. And
That was huge.
and I would
then.
just listen back to all of my stuff, and don't worry, be happy.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Summertime. All these types of little fun tunes. And then I grew up and I started doing theater more than music, and performing on stage more often.
Yeah.
And then took all of the expertise that I had from wanting to sing and performing.
Mm-hmm.
And I started a band in university with, finally we got a musician, a guitarist.
Yeah.
And
That is such a, I mean, for me, theater is such a hard art form. I mean, I have the biggest respect for it. Because, like, if you're acting on a movie or something like that, you can stop. Theater, I mean, it's right there on the spot.
oh, it's all live.
And it's, you forgot, and then you just, that's again going back to the no net thing.
Right.
I mean, I don't think there's, what other art form is there that has less net than theater?
Well, there is a practice process that you should be going through.
Yeah, well, that
when
would be
you
your next.
so that when you get on stage,
Yeah.
there is this sense of comfortability. It's like a false sense of security because you think, oh, I've practiced this. Oh, I've memorized it. And if I've gone through the motions and my body movements and my character is in the moment, then I'll just remember everything and it'll come out as practiced.
Yeah.
And then hopefully, if you're a good actor, it's believable. And I think that for me was the easier thing than doing film, actually, or even doing music at a certain time, because for me, it was scripted. There was a director who had told me where to go. I was able to be creative within my character and come up with some ideas. But that live aspect, being on stage
Yes.
and potentially forgetting everything that you had
Yeah.
practiced, that's a rush. And that feeling and that energy that you have can be shared with the audience. And I'm actually happy that I experienced that theater experience at a young age, because it's taking me now to where I'm realizing that the audience is very valuable in this entire process.
It's ridiculous. I mean, I'm gonna tell you how I had that epiphany of how hard theater would be. Like, I've never done theater or anything like that, or acting. Like, I've been in stuff, but it's for fun. It's not
Sure,
like I'm
sure.
not an actor. But we were in school, and they took us to see a play. And it was not a big theater. It was an okay sized theater, and we were, many schools there watching this play. And there was this, it was this very sad part in the play, and everything was so quiet. And everybody was, and there's this person crying because, I don't know, somebody was going to die or died already. I forgot what it was. And you could hear a pin drop in that place. and suddenly this fart echoed throughout the whole theater. Oh my god, man. And the fart was funny, but the trying not to laugh in that particular moment was excruciating, man. I mean, everybody was just like with their hands just covering their face, and you can just feel the shake of the chair. Like everybody just trying not to laugh, and then suddenly, like from really far, I just hear somebody just like. Man, it was brutal, and I mean the whole place just started laughing, and the actors just kept it straight.
Wow.
And it was funny, but man, respect for these guys, because like me, I would have not been able to do that. I was like, all right, fourth wall is broken. I can laugh at a fart. I mean, it's crazy. Okay, so in your case, you started mixing what you learned with theater to your music thing. I mean, for stage, that is so important.
Yeah, totally. It's to go back to your note. I've actually messed up more often than not on the final dress rehearsal right before the show. I mean, forgotten my lines and just completely.
It's the psychology of it.
I don't know what it is, but then the performance, it works out very well, and it's gone well, and nobody notices the difference.
Yeah.
Even moments where I think that I'm going to laugh because the audience is laughing.
Yeah.
I do well in the show, or I don't crack up and laugh if somebody farts or make a noise or something like that.
Yeah.
But in that dress rehearsal, it's always a mess.
Yeah, I've always said that about like I've never bungee jumped. I don't think I will. I might jump from a plane, but I know that I'm gonna be like at the moment that we jump, I jumped. But what is gonna be crazy for me is gonna be like the night before that I know I'm gonna jump.
You have to jump. You have to do it. I can't
Yeah.
believe you haven't done anything crazy like that. You can go over to Macau. They have it easily accessible, and I think it's one of the safest ones in the world.
Yeah, I'm not gonna bungee jump. Because I
all right.
know I'm not gonna enjoy it.
Okay.
I will enjoy jumping from a plane.
You haven't skydived before.
No, I will do that. But that's the thing, like what it's scary for me is when you see that the plane taking off and it just keeps going up and up and up and up, and then you're there and everything looks tiny down there, and then you see like the first 3 people jumping first, and like those moments, the waiting, it's what I don't like.
Yeah.
So for stage, I would assume it's something like that. Like once you did it, you're doing it.
Right.
But the waiting it can mess up your mind so much.
Well, even I have a show this coming Saturday, and I'm preparing for that show, and I've been preparing for that show since the North America tour finished, I think about 3 weeks ago. And the anticipation for that show is what's worrying me, making sure that I'm able to say the right things and thank the right people, those types of things. But I'm sure that once I get on stage, it's just
business as usual.
Yeah, it's just gonna all come out.
Yeah.
And it'll seem seamless and flawless.
Yeah.
At least we'd hope so.
Would this be your first time performing solo?
No, actually. This is my third time performing solo. I performed once at Meta's grand opening here in Hong Kong in the California Tower.
Okay.
And then I performed in New York, which was the first show on the North America tour.
Okay.
To friends and family there.
Oh, nice.
Which, I mean, as we had discussed previously, I've always had bandmates.
Yeah.
I've had somebody to make the music, write the music, and then I just kind of vibe on top of it. If it's something that flows out, then great. And if it doesn't work, maybe a bandmate can suggest to me, oh, well, let's try this or let's try that. And I'm very open to a lot of ideas. I think it might be my theater background as well, which is, take the criticism, take the direction.
It's the collaboration.
The director is going to tell you need to go bigger or you need to kind of scale that back, and you can't be emotionally invested so much that you get defensive or you get hurt. So you have to kind of be open to a lot of those ideas. I'm now all by myself. So we'll see what kind of crazy show that comes up on Saturday, because I just got a whole bunch of ideas that I want to get the audience involved, and I want to be able to do something different than I've ever done before. And I think not having this net means I don't have a baseline of expectations.
Exactly. I mean, you're cornered.
Yeah.
When you're cornered, that's when you know some of the best art, if not all, comes out of struggle. You know? Okay, so going back to US before you came to Hong Kong for the first time. Okay, so you started doing theater.
Correct.
And then you started doing this music project with your friend.
Right.
So what happened after that?
Well, what happened is I won a couple of awards doing theater, and my friend said to me, "Let's go to a school that we can learn the recording industry."
Yeah.
And I wanted to be in a band, so I figured it would be very valuable for me to learn the recording industry. So we went to Middle Tennessee State University in Tennessee, near Nashville, actually, very
Okay.
close, about 30 or 45 minutes away. And I did not do well in those. I did not do well. I mean, we learned a whole bunch of stuff. There's 4 core classes that you have to take. You know, the history of the music industry. You have to take the business. You have to take 2 other courses that I probably didn't do well in. That's why I don't remember them. And it's a cutthroat major to get into it. They actually pick 30 students every year out of the hundreds that apply to be in the major to actually continue with the course, and you have to have the top results and the top marks. That was not me.
And God knows how many of those 30 finish.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So that was not me, and I knew that I wasn't going to be that 30 chosen. So I went back to theater, and I finished a degree at that school in theater, and it's a really sad moment for me because once I quit that major, I had to take a semester off. The band continued without me, with a new name. They were doing shows, they were gaining fans, and I wasn't there for any of that. And I wasn't the singer. I was just a bandmate, and they had a singer, and they had all these other people. And
What were you playing in the band?
I was singing, but it was a backup singer.
Oh, okay.
Or a contributor to the singing duties.
Okay.
I don't know if that was something that I really did enjoy at the time, but it was definitely something I wanted to do because I enjoyed music.
Yeah.
I came back to the school, I started doing theater, and the band had already gone off without me, and I was left to not have a band again.
Yeah.
And I came to Hong Kong with a theater degree, teaching theater and drama education here. And that even took me into a place where I was now focusing on what I loved, theater, education, performance, those types of things, but I wasn't doing music.
Yeah.
I'd say when I came to Hong Kong, I had decided that music wasn't going to be the outlet that I thought it was when I was younger.
Okay.
I was going to just say, well, I had a previous joy of doing the music, and now I'm focusing on this. And I think it wasn't until about year 5 in Hong Kong when I first started to meet a friend who had an opportunity to show me some music, and that's when we started a band here in Hong Kong. And I didn't realize how much I missed it until I was doing it again. I almost accepted it that it wasn't something I was doing now.
Yeah, it's like, you know, like you have to do either like, oh, I'm going to dedicate myself to this, or I'm going to dedicate myself to that. I mean, you might as well just try everything, because we're in this life it's so brief. You know, it's just and then you're in and out, and you I mean, this place has been alive way longer than you've been alive, and it will survive you way longer than you're gonna be here, you know?
That's right.
So it's, you know, it's that little moment that you hear, what are you gonna do with your life, you know? And if you have something in the back of your head that you want to do, just do it.
I think this is a strange topic for a lot of people, because they believe you, yes, I should do what I want, but they don't know how to do that, and even they don't know what they want to do sometimes. So they find themselves kind of in this sad zombie mode that
Yes.
just every day is the same typical day and it's paying the bills. So of course they need to continue that, because if you can't pay your bills, well, you don't have a roof over your head or food to eat,
Yep.
it's just very important.
Yeah.
But I don't know what you're finding joy in your life if you
Yeah.
haven't figured out what your passions are.
Yeah, it's crazy thinking about it, because I don't know how anybody could live a life where you don't enjoy what you're doing. But at the same time, I am thankful for these people, because somebody has to do it.
Right.
Somebody has to do accountings.
Right.
Somebody has to, I don't know, do construction. And probably you're doing a job that you don't love, but you're making the life easier for some other people, right? But I'm always gonna be that proponent that you like. Just there has to be a way, because you found it. I found a way of doing something that we love.
Well, I'm stupid. And that's that's part of it. I'm an idiot.
Aren't we all?
I told my mom, hey, you didn't push me or raise me to be a doctor or a lawyer, so I chose theater. I don't know why I did that. Fortunately, I found a job doing those types of things. But I think that's the reason why people are maybe doing something they don't want to do, but because they know that it's a valuable thing that's going to be a service that can last them throughout their life, however long that is. I think for me, just being so invested into a performance, that's what led me to continue the theater process. That's what led me to continue doing music. And even now, having the Anello as a solo project, I'm going to continue that because I enjoy performing. And I think that's the value that if I didn't have, I think I would lose a little bit of my joy.
Yeah.
And I could survive without it.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm so much better with it.
Of course, because it's you taking your own net out. It's you just untying that thing and just taking it out and said, it's I fly or I fly, and this is it. Okay, so what? Like going back to. Okay, so you came back to Hong Kong. I mean, you came to Hong Kong for the first time. You met your friend. You started trying music out, again. And then what happened after that? That's when Bella Electra came out.
No, this was actually a band previous.
Okay.
Previous to Bella Electra, called City, CYDI.
Oh, I remember
which
that.
was an acronym for "Can You Dream It?"
Okay.
Or "'Cause You Deserve It," or "Can You Dig It?" We had a million of them, and that was just a fun music project. I mean, we did a lot of stupid things. Stupid is fun. Chi scene is what they call it here in Hong Kong. It's crazy. Crazy's fun. It makes ideas spark from nothing if you can just realize that you just got to be crazy sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, we came out in one show at Grappa's a long time ago, and we had yellow jumpsuits on and chains around our arms like we were convicted felons because the song was called Crazy, and so we were just being crazy. And I think a lot of people looked at us like we were crazy, just doing these types of things, but we were just having fun. We were just making music together. And
from that so you would say that the timeline would be CD, Bella Electra, and the Anello, right?
Correct.
Okay, so that transition between CD and Bella Electra, what things did you learn from CD that you brought into Bella Electra, and what things you ditched?
I learned that it is more about the music than anything else, and the music is what's providing me the opportunity to get in front of these people.
Yeah.
Now, with City, I could have just been in the studio writing music. We could have put it out online. We could have made our music videos and just put them out online. But I don't know if it would have had the same impact because we didn't have a live show that really connected with the audience.
Okay.
Bella Electra gave the opportunity to do that.
Mm-hmm.
They were performing already in certain venues, and they didn't have a vocal. It was a trumpet, a saxophone, and a DJ.
Yeah.
So these three things together sounded beautiful, and I was friends with one of the saxophone player, Oscar,
Yeah.
and he invited me out to one of their gigs, and I got on the microphone. They trusted me to get on the microphone, and I just kind of sang some freestyle stuff and had a really good time with the other three guys.
Yeah.
And then Michael, the trumpet player, who was predominantly involved in the Anello for the past 2 years, he invited me to come back for their performance.
Yeah.
And I needed to memorize, I think, 9 of the songs that I
Okay.
had freestyled. They were going to give me the tracks so that I could listen back to them, and then we'd have at least some sort of set or repertoire that we could use continuously at that venue.
Yeah.
And then it stemmed from there, and I learned a lot about music from them. I learned a lot about the business, the industry, how to communicate with people on a professional level, how to keep a system and a log of information, because the people that you connect with yesterday, you might not connect with today, but you might connect with tomorrow. And you need to have all that information available so that when you finally do connect with them, you remember where you met them, you remember how you met them, and now you can provide them some sort of service moving forward.
Yeah.
And that was invaluable for me just because of their experience within the industry and what they've been doing and how well they've been doing.
Yeah.
After that,
But okay,
okay.
what did you learn from the business that you didn't know before? Like what was different about that music business that it was not there on the theater business? Like what would be that?
well, I learned that music and business might not always be the same. And business, I don't care how amazing you are as a singer. I don't care how amazing you are as a musician. I don't care how amazing you are as a producer, a DJ, whatever the case is. If you are not providing the value that the client wants, then they're not going to hire you.
That is true.
And you could have your own garage band.
Yeah.
That's important. Now, I had an issue because I don't do typical covers. In fact, I don't do covers. I don't memorize songs well enough
Yeah.
to have a list of covers. And there are some songs that I have recently learned because I think it's important to do some of these covers, especially for gigs and events that we've been hired to do. And there is a certain standard of expectation for musicians if they're going to hire you to play jazz or play pop or hip hop or just DJ. They want these typical songs to be
you don't
want to
be that guy that you don't know that song.
Right. So I have learned that, but that's something that I learned that I needed to know how to do. And I also learned how to even simply write an email that would get a response, you know? So these types of things were hugely important towards what the Anello ended up accomplishing or doing within its short amount of time, because we learned so much from the Bella Electra project.
So what happened with Bella Electra? I mean, in the lifespan that it had, what did you guys accomplish? What things did you try that you probably wanted to try with CD, but it happened with Bella Electra?
We did more live shows, and doing live shows gives you a repertoire of what you're comfortable with and what you're not comfortable with when you're on stage. Like you were saying, this live performance, you're on this stage, there's no net, everybody's looking at you, all this crazy stuff is happening very fast. And if you've done it enough times, everything slows down.
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant says that about basketball. He has played and practiced so much and watched so much film of so many games that everything just not only slows down, but he's able to see things before it happens.
That is
and
amazing.
that's the most important thing as a performer, as a singer, as an artist, is to get in front of people, have that no net mentality, and just go for it, because you'll figure out what you're good at and what you're not good at, and the audience will let you know very quickly.
Yeah, because I mean, when you get in that position, you're not thinking anymore about your skills. Because at the beginning, when you start performing, your mentality is, are you gonna do good?
Right. Am I good enough?
Can I hit that note, or can I do that? Am I gonna be likable? But when you start performing and you have that experience, that you start seeing the performance as a producer, because you see, like, you are doing it, but in a weird way, you're seeing yourself from the other angle, right? So you're seeing the show. You are performing, but at the same time, you're enjoying what the crowd is seeing, right? So when that happens, you start becoming this chess master, right? And then okay, so I'm gonna do this move because this is, it's like fighting jujitsu. It's like I'm gonna do this because he's gonna do that, and then I'm gonna do this move.
Yep.
Right. So that's when you start really controlling your stage, and I mean, when all the things that at the beginning you were doing consciously, you are doing it now as a second nature, and you have that mental space and freedom to see the performance in a different angle. It takes you to a whole different level.
Whole nother level. In fact, we even played around with freestyling in live shows, and if you come to any of the shows that you're going to be in the future, I'm going to be doing freestyle at every show. In fact, I probably will be doing more freestyles now with audience suggestions and participation than I ever have before, and I've cultivated that talent from years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm not perfect, trust me. I don't have the vocabulary as much as I should. In fact, I should probably be reading the thesaurus as like go on the train and just read the thesaurus.
You're talking to a Dominican speaking English, so it's
you're doing great, man.
You're good.
But I've learned how to do those types of things as well, and I'm not saying that I wasn't sad when that group broke up.
Yeah.
But there is a time when you need to almost move on for the sake of something new being able to be born.
Yeah. So what happened? Why did it break up?
Well, it was the lack of able to perform, actually.
Okay.
We wanted to plan tours and we couldn't. We wanted to do more shows in Hong Kong, but we were exhausting our fan base.
Okay.
And so it kind of became more of a hobby, and I think that as much as we would have loved to continue doing that, everybody had choices that they had made in their life, whether to get married, have children. That's an expected thing for most people, and that was happening. So, not to me.
Yeah.
But but when that was happening to the other members, of course, you have to respect them and let them have their time.
Yeah.
And so we moved on from that and formed the Anello.
Yeah. Okay. So it was not a lack of, like, people, because I remember people were enjoying Bella Electra a lot, and Bella Electra was everywhere. So, it was not a...
Yeah, we performed in Clock and Flap.
Yes.
We were in magazines, along with a lot of other really famous bands.
Yeah.
We were in South China Morning Post. I mean, there was a lot of fun things that we had done.
Yeah.
Time Out Magazine interviewed us. I mean, we were definitely having
Yeah.
a really good time.
Which it could get a little frustrating when like, dude, like, we're so close. If you just put up that kid for another
The thing you have to understand, I think, very quickly, that your life isn't determined by your choices most of the time. It actually is determined by everybody else around you that makes choices that end up affecting you, and then you have to be mature enough to understand that and move forward and move on.
Yeah.
You take the knowledge that you've been given, and hopefully you're able to apply it well enough for yourself.
Yes.
So I'm happy for all of these experiences that we're talking about today. I can't believe we're going down memory lane, but it's really nice to be able to kind of talk about what I've gone through to get to this point.
Yeah.
And I matured a lot with the people that was around me at that time, and I only hope that I'll be able to surround myself with more amazing people as things get going.
Yeah, I think that's something that I've learned a lot throughout the years, that I am not gonna work or involve myself into projects with people that I don't enjoy. But I'm not talking about, not just people, just projects that I don't enjoy. it could include people, that I just probably, it might be a person that I love as a human being and we get along well, but probably we don't work well together, and that is okay. It's fine. There's no issue with that. We don't have to take it personal. It's all good. But again, time is so brief that you have to mature and say, what, this time that I'm not gonna get back, am I really gonna enjoy this? If the answer is no, then just don't do it. Like, I heard this podcast, and it was Derek Sivers was in it. I think he was the guy that did. Oh my God, I might fuck this up. Was he the guy from? He was not the Napster guy, but no, he was the guy from CD Baby. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh my God, yeah. Okay, so he was the guy from CD Baby, and he said that something that he implemented in his life was that he had two possible choices. One of them was hell yeah or no. Anything else, anything that was proposed to him that the answer was not hell yeah, he just did not do.
Yeah, you have to align yourself with what your passions are. We talked about it earlier. My passion was performing. In fact, I had no other choice but to continue doing what was required of me to be a better performer.
Yeah.
I knew. What I didn't tell you is that I had an opportunity to have an internship in New York when I graduated from university on Broadway.
Oh, wow.
And the internship was not a paid internship.
Yeah.
But it was working with one of the top directors in New York.
Wow.
On Broadway. And I knew that opportunity would provide me a lot of other opportunities. And I would work at night and try and, make the money that I could and worked in the daytime and intern and really just push myself at a young 20-something-year-old Jeff. And I did not take that because the bigger hell yeah was to move for 1 year contract to move to Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Travel and experience that. Plus I'd be making money in my field that I had graduated with a degree in. Theater. Yeah. Can you believe you make money with that degree? But that was the hell yeah. That was a bigger hell yeah. So they're both, good plans and good choices to make. But you got to take the choice that seems to be, I don't know. It's like a gut feeling.
Yeah. What
sometimes.
Appeals to you? What moves you?
Well, I think that's what the purpose was for starting a new project. I mean, the Bell Electra project was going to complete.
Yeah.
We didn't achieve everything that I wanted to. It seems like you never do.
Yeah.
But I had to take another chance, another stab at it.
Yeah.
I couldn't just quit there.
So asking you the same question that I asked you between CD and Bell Electra, what did you learn from Bell Electra that you brought to the Anello, and what things you ditched?
The first thing was no ego.
Yeah.
I did not choose the band name. In fact, that was a hard choice for me, considering...
which band name?
The Anello.
The Anello, okay.
Considering it is my surname.
Yeah.
I did not think that was a good choice initially.
Yeah.
I thought that was a lot of pressure on me. But I have gotten used to being the face of the band in Bella Electra. Yeah. So I assumed that I could take that responsibility and I'll be the face of this band as well.
Yeah.
But I could not have an ego about it. And I think a point that I made earlier that maybe I didn't stress on this particular topic, which was I don't care how good you are at anything that you do. If you have a massive ego about it, people aren't going to want to work with you and aren't going to want to establish and continue and really cultivate a relationship with you. They're just not going to want to. And maybe you'll find a couple of people who like to, drink your swag juice.
Yeah.
But
swag juice,
which sounds really
you
weird.
See, I just learned something today.
That's not a thing.
Which would be a great name for a new band.
Well, we had a million names for bands. That's why I was wondering why we chose this one.
Swag juice.
But yeah, the Anello was birthed, and I'm very happy that it had been, because I have been able to achieve what we achieved with the previous bands,
Yeah.
and more.
Yeah.
And of course, like, if you talk about it, of
Yeah.
course, this is the maturation process that you're supposed to be going through. It's not easy, but you're destined to mature, to evolve because of the experiences that you've had.
Yes.
And if you're at least somewhat open enough and you don't have this massive ego that says everything that I do is amazing, then you'll learn from people.
Yeah.
And once that happens, you'll notice yourself not repeating the same mistakes that you did in the past.
Yeah.
So you don't even have an opportunity to fail the same way that you did in the past, because you've already done that.
Yeah.
And now you're ready to move forward and fail in something else.
Yeah, exactly. You have to be failing at something always.
Right.
I think, like, for you to grow in life, you have to be failing at something in whatever your present is. You know, there's something that you need to be trying to achieve and failing, and then eventually you get it. And then once you get it, find something else that you will fail at. And then until you get it, and it just keep it going like that. And ego is such a strange thing, because, like, sometimes we associate ego with something bad, you know, something egocentric and the whole thing. But the truth is that you need to be good enough in whatever craft you do to know that you are good, right? And that not only that you're good, but that you're unique. I would use that word probably better than good, because good is so relative. You know, what is good for me might not be good for somebody else. But unique, that I know that anywhere I go, if I want to have Jeff in my band, the only person that can do that, it's you, because you can only bring that flavor. You know, and then that brings you again to the same thing. You know, like, sometimes you're not the lead of the band because you chose to be, but somebody had to do it. You know, and your natural thing that your natural animal instinct is that somebody has to be the pack leader. At least on stage, you know, backstage we all talk, but somebody has to be the pack leader in on stage.
And accepting that, some people are like, "Ooh, pick me," you know. But, and you would think that I would be that person that would be like, "Ooh, pick me," because I've always loved to be on stage. I've always loved to be the lead role in certain, you know, theatrical performances. And even then, I would, even in the bands, I would make sure, okay, guys, let's really step up our game today and let's put on a really good show.
Yeah.
You know, don't think that this is just some mundane performance. Every performance, and it doesn't matter who it's in front of, one person should be the performance of your life.
Yes.
And I had routinely, throughout City, Bell Electra, and the Anello, routinely told myself that, so that each performance raised my level of expectation of what I could do.
Yeah.
So when I finally got to the point where now I'm in a band called the Anello, people are going to be looking at me, my face is on this thing, my name is on this thing, and I've now taken all of those experiences and said to myself, I think I can do this.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And I am going to find a way to make this original, unique, different, something that someone's going to want to listen to. How that happened, I mean, we could probably have another podcast and talk about all the logistics about, you know, planning and preparing and all these other things. But for me to say, okay, I actually need a bigger ego just so that I can live up to that bill.
Because people like that. You know, people don't like arrogant people, but they like a person that is sure about what you can deliver.
And I found out what I could deliver by doing so many performances, by writing so many songs, by listening to so many other artists, just whatever that was. And I remember, even in Bell Electra, I was still trying to find my voice. City, I didn't have my voice. You can listen back to some of those songs. And I had a pretty voice.
Yeah.
But I couldn't find my voice.
Yeah.
And there were a couple of songs in Bell Electra that I was tweaking and I was testing and I was
Mm-hmm.
figuring it out and all these other things. But when the Anello started and there were people who were producing music for me,
Yeah.
and I was helping out with some of the tracks and some
Yeah.
of the songs, when I started singing, I just felt comfortable to write.
Yeah.
And a lot of these things come from my personal experiences. They come from things that I've gone through, and even most of the time, what I'm going through at that moment, because I really want to express myself, and I don't know how else to do that with words, because music is just a whole different feeling.
Yeah.
And I had no idea that people would like the new music.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Bella Electra was finished. We're
Yeah.
not going back to that.
Yeah.
You know, all these other songs we knew people liked. Now we've got a whole bunch of new stuff. I don't know if anybody's gonna like all of this.
And how is the Anello's music different than the Bella Electra one?
It's a little bit more. It's a little bit more pop and R&B. The Bella Electra sounds were more house, hip hop. So we took some of the vibe that we enjoyed from previous tracks and kind of, at least that the essence of it, kind of brought it into some of the Anello stuff. But I didn't pin myself towards a genre, actually. And I think it's easy to explain it in a genre
Yeah.
so that people can compartmentalize,
Yeah.
that's what this is.
Yeah.
But it to me, it never was anything until it was created.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you a little insider information here.
Yeah.
I stopped listening to music. I didn't watch music videos. I didn't listen to my iTunes.
Yeah.
Even if people would suggest certain songs to me, I
Yeah.
would put them in a list that I would
Wow.
get back to later.
Wow.
While during this writing process, because I did not want to be affected by
Yes.
any other style, any other artist,
Wow.
any other person that could influence me in a way where maybe I would copycat something,
Yeah.
or maybe it would sound a little bit like that song that came out in that one year on that one time because it was really popular, or I would really the purpose for me was that I would actually be able to be in my own skin.
Yes.
Be comfortable with what that is, and whatever comes out of it from the music, that's what's real and genuine.
Yes.
And it is about performing and letting the audience enjoy certain things and giving the people what they want.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of it as an artist where you really need time to be within yourself, find 20 minutes a day if that's all
Yeah.
of you've got, and just figure out what's on your mind.
Yeah.
What is your brain thinking? And then then put that into something that you're passionate about. And hopefully that'll provide value for certain people that you had no idea how much it would change them.
Yeah, but it's so important, that thing that you said, you know, like asking yourself questions. What do you feel like today? What, you know, like, 'cause we are so caught up with what other people think of us, you know, and everybody's thinking about what other people think of us, and it's the same thing, but then nobody's is thinking about their own selves, you know, and it's sad in a way. But once you discover that little thing that, you know, it's okay to be good to yourself. You don't have to flatulate yourself. You don't have to. Did I say flatulate?
Flatulate?
No.
Is that the word you were looking for?
No. Flagellation.
Okay.
It's again the Dominican speaking English here. No.
It's awesome. I'm understanding like 90% of what you're saying.
You don't need to whip yourself.
Yeah, you got to be easy on yourself sometimes.
Yeah. So okay, so besides that the poetic writing aspect of it, how is your music production process? Like how do you sit down and, like, how do you get an idea, and because everybody has a different style, everybody has a different method.
Was this with any particular band or how I'm doing it now?
How I think we tend to like how you're doing it now.
Well, now it's different. As I had mentioned before, everyone else in my previous bands had made music.
Yeah.
So they gave me music.
And then you sung
And then
over
I
it.
just sang what that
Okay.
that music made me feel.
Okay.
Now is a whole nother ball game. I have at least 50 ideas or freestyles or melodies that I've recorded on my phone. So I'm going to go back through all of that, take the best pieces, and maybe kind of put them together to make a song or two or three or five songs. We'll see how that goes based on whatever I've got in my phone. And then I have similar recordings of beats or sounds or just kind of like a and I don't know music theory, but I do know sounds. And I can take that into my studio and I can kind of find out, well, this would be a synth and this would be the bass and then this would be, you know, a little, here would be the line here. And I can make that and create those sounds in my studio. But at this stage, what I'm really excited about is finding people who are producers, who are music makers of some sort, music writers, whatever the case is. And I have a couple of friends and people within the industry that I'm already working with. But I'd love to take that, create something that we both are happy with, and produce that out into the world on my platform.
Yeah.
So that there's a community aspect of all of this, and we're all kind of making this music together, still working solo, but working with others.
Yeah. And it's, I mean, we're talking about it as if, I mean, it is a new project because it's the most recent one, but it has been going on for a bit and it has been well accepted. I mean, the Anello was voted Hong Kong's hottest band, right?
Hottest band by Boom Magazine and best band by HKELD.
Dude, that is really cool.
Yeah, we're actually nominated again this year, so cross your fingers.
When do they vote?
I think the results will be out early September.
Yeah.
So who knows? I mean, maybe two-time.
Would it be the first time that two people win it? Two bands win it. Like the same band wins it twice.
I'm not sure. I don't know the history, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I tell you, it was an honor to win it, and it's been an honor to have been recognized by a lot of these different publications and these people who have seen what we're doing and be thankful for what we're doing. And you know, a lot of the awards that you're getting.
Yeah.
Nobody knows unless you tell them most of the time.
Yeah.
And so it's been amazing for us to be able to go places and even say Hong Kong's best band, awarded Hong Kong's best band, or Hong Kong's hottest band, or performed in Clock and Flap.
Yeah.
Because the Anello also performed in Clock and Flap this past year.
Yeah.
Or even some of the awards that we've done where we did a talk at the TEDx Wanchai event. These types of things raise your platform to another level, but also raises your experience level to kind of hopefully go to another level and really take that knowledge that you have and utilize it.
Yeah, and it's so important to always, I mean, they always tell you like, don't forget your roots, don't forget your roots. But it's so important for you to think about that moment when you decided, okay, I'm going to go to Hong Kong. You know, this is a big decision. And just trace a line from that moment to that moment when you are Hong Kong's best band, Hong Kong's hottest band, and you trace a line that, and you see how far you have gone, and it's amazing. I mean, think when you were little. I mean, you never thought you were gonna be in Hong Kong, that you were gonna live in Hong Kong. I mean, I used to see this thing on TV. And then now you are that thing that seemed so far, you are that place's best band.
It's cool when you say it. I think sometimes I just live in my own world where I'm not really ever satisfied with what's happening, and I'm always looking on to the next 3 months or the next 6 months or the next year and really planning some things out. And not kind of taking everything into consideration to what's happened to even be able to plan 3 to 6 or 12 months out. Yeah.
Yeah. And how has been your promotion strategy like for the Anello? Because now you have let's say the power of veto. You know, you can choose what you're gonna do, right?
Yeah, right. Well, the promotions, it's really interesting how it's kind of evolved at this point. I think promoting yourself to your friends is a great way to start, but it can't be your only promotion strategy, because as mentioned before, you'll exhaust your fan base, and I don't know how many best friends you have, but I'm sure they have other things to do on certain nights and can't always come to your events.
Yeah.
So you have to build a bigger audience somehow. Simply done, a lot of it is promoting yourself when you talk to people and just saying, hey, hi, how are you? And they don't know who you are, so you mention to them what it is that you do. If you have a really interesting card or, I don't know, a sticker or something, that face-to-face contact is probably still the number one way that you can make an impact.
Yeah, it's crazy how that thing evolved, because before, when you were in that record label era, where that was the be-all, end-all, what made you a star was that mystique that nobody knew who you were, and the only thing they knew about you was printed on your CD, and that's all they knew, right?
Right.
So for me, I remember, I mean, Marilyn Manson was that thing that I saw on that CD, and that was it. The guy, he didn't eat. You know, and for me, he was like in this dark church, and that's where he lived, right? But now, like, the way that bands and artists promote, it's so different. You know, now you have to have your face there.
You got to be open. You got to be honest. You got to be candid as much as you possibly can. I don't know if I've completely accepted all of the strategies that are being thrown out there by a lot of different bands. I think it's really all depending on what you're comfortable with, because sometimes even if you want to be open and honest and candid about certain things, you might have some other people in your band who aren't, or maybe they don't like that photo or something. So there is some hierarchy and certain things that you need to kind of, like you were saying, you know, veto to get out there. But being personal is number one. Number two is having some sort of image that is recognizable, assuming so that it's a logo, but it doesn't have to be the logo. And the image doesn't necessarily have to be a photo or a video. An image could just be what you are trying to produce by having this band or this company even, or whatever. So, you know, if you want them to have, like you were saying, Marilyn Manson, this dark image of him in a tower and just, you know, with like some scraps on his plate with a pen and or a piece of paper and like 4 different pencils that have been rubbed down to the bone. You know what I mean? Writing and writing and writing. Maybe that's an image. So how you're able to portray that image, I think, is really valuable for a lot of the fan bases, so that they could just easily remember what it is that you're doing. For us with the Anello, initially was the trumpet that Michael had. He'd always made sure, always had a trumpet in every photo. He was a trumpet guy, and I always had a microphone in every photo. I was the singer guy. So there's that clear, this is what this person does, this is what this person does. And then if you see my card, it's very like, yay. So it's a very fun image, and I think that's what we're trying to portray. Another thing would be who and how you're able to collaborate with. So if you're able to open up for certain bands, then you get to introduce yourself to their fan base. If you're able to get into certain festivals, you've got a million other people that'll be there for you. And hopefully you're getting involved with the people who will also promote you on their networks as well, so that you're not the only person just pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. Because after a while, it gets tough to do that, especially if there's no real return that you're not visually seeing.
It's important. Like it's important that first push, you get people that would post for you. Get people that would retweet, people that would post a photo of you saying like, "Hey, I check out this band that I just discovered." Because I've always said this, like if you are selling to me that bottle of water because you make it, you might convince me, right? But if somebody else is trying to sell me that bottle of water that you make, and that other person is telling me how great you are making bottles of water, then it's different. Like I'm out of it. Like I'm taking somebody else is telling me that you are the best at it.
And this is how we started this conversation.
Yeah.
You introduced it with, "Hey, I heard that you were Hong Kong's hottest band."
Yeah.
We didn't say that.
Exactly.
Somebody else said that, and then you took that and you said, "Wow, that band must be interesting."
Yeah.
So, and hopefully you get into the New York Times, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, or the Wall Street
Yeah.
Journal, or whatever it is, so that there's a bigger net that you
Yeah.
can catch more fish. But that's how it starts with promotions in terms of that. Now, of course, the other way to do this is basically make sure that you have all of these social media platforms.
Yeah.
You have Facebook, you have Twitter,
Yeah.
you have Instagram, you have Snapchat's cool now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Who knows what the next big thing is going to be
Yeah.
coming up? If you were smart enough, you would set yourself up with 5 or 10 different new platforms and see which one takes off, so
Yeah.
that you are the leader of that platform in that genre, in that area that you want to establish, and then it's easier for you in the future to continue getting a fan base.
Yeah.
So that's always tough. And then Facebook has advertisements that you can pay money towards. Instagram has a little bit more of a organic feel to it, but that's still changing because they're doing ads and stuff on that as well,
Yeah.
and certain sponsors.
Yeah.
But then there's the other avenues, like, I don't know, having music that you're putting out
Yeah.
there as well, or music videos that actually look cool,
Yeah.
or little promotional things where you're on tour or you're in the studio and you're just, "Hey guys,
Yeah.
here's a little photo," or, "Hey, we're in the studio, let's go Facebook Live," or a way to
Yeah.
connect with people
Yeah.
where they feel that you're continually doing stuff that they will have FOMO
Yeah.
if they don't keep up.
Nice.
Are you
nice.
familiar with what FOMO is?
Not at all.
Okay, because
I
didn't
try
know.
to act.
I didn't know if that was a.
I blinked 3 times when you said FOMO.
That's why I was asking. So FOMO is FOMO.
Yeah.
That's how it's spelled.
Okay.
Fear of missing out.
Okay.
So if
got
you
it.
have this fear of missing out, you have this FOMO, then you want to get in touch, you want to get involved, you want to do all this other stuff. How many times do you check your Facebook? How many times do you check your Instagram?
Yeah.
How many times do you check your email? You get your notifications, you feel like you're missing out on something, you want to make sure that you find out what that is. So everybody has that. You have to be able to, keep that in a, locked away in a schedule somewhere so that you
Yeah.
don't go crazy.
Yeah.
But if you're active enough, if you have people posting about you, you have images, you know what I mean? You have all these things, then it starts to spread.
Yeah.
And word of mouth is probably the biggest way to really get anything
Yes.
going. And most of the jobs that we've gotten, even paid gigs, because you got to make money sometimes.
Yeah.
You can't just, do this in your studio and eat tuna fish every single day.
Yeah.
By the way, tuna fish is going to be extinct at some point. So
Really?
this is what's been forecasted.
For real.
Because everybody's eating tuna fish.
I heard the
for
same thing
so
about
many years.
pancake syrup.
What?
Yeah, I heard that.
So we need to eat more tuna fish and pancake syrup.
Yes, I heard that.
Oh my gosh.
I heard, but I've heard that like 5 years ago.
Right. Well, eventually.
and it's still there. So
I assume that I'll be an 80-year-old man and talking to my grandchild. I remember when I ate tuna fish.
Yeah, it was something about maple syrup that it's gonna be gone because of I forgot. It was
Canada's going to lock it up and never sell it to anybody.
I don't know, man, but it's something about maple syrup. I have no idea.
I forgot my point, but
But what do you think about like music streaming services?
I think they're great, and there's so many of them.
Yeah.
So you have to pick and choose what you're capable of doing.
Yeah.
And I think even the strategies that I've mentioned, 3 or 4 strategies that I've mentioned, most of that is still what you're capable of doing. And the
Yeah.
people that are in your band or in your project,
Yeah.
whether or not you have a manager or whether or not your manager is your guitarist, what are you capable of doing? Fortunately, in the Anello, Michael Garcia did a lot of things for that project.
Yeah.
He is a professional photographer, as well as a professional musician, and he also does video, and he's quite familiar with some of the websites, HTML kind of things like
Okay.
that. I wouldn't say he's proficient, but he's very.
You can get away with it.
Yeah, he was able to set up a couple of different things that
Nice.
make things look nice. And I think once you're able to clarify what skills you have,
Yeah.
then you do those skills
Yeah.
as often as you can because you're doing them well.
Yeah.
If you have a skill that you're not good at,
Yeah.
maybe you have to start to kind of figure out, well, maybe I outsource this.
Yeah.
And if I outsource these types of things, then maybe I need money to do that.
Yeah.
So you still have to kind of figure out ways that you make money.
Yeah.
The biggest way that we made money was from referrals and connections.
Yeah.
So we do a show for free.
Mm-hmm.
And we had like a 3-month free period when we first started the band.
Yeah.
And we did as many shows as we could for free. And people like your show.
Yeah.
If they like your show,
Yeah.
you'd hope that they enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then you'll know because you'll get an email, you'll get a phone
Yeah.
call.
Yeah.
Hey, blah, blah, blah messaged me about this, and we'd love to have you perform on this date. Are
Yeah.
you available?
Yeah.
And once people start contacting you, where you're not having to just promote yourself,
Mm-hmm.
once they're contacting you, then that's when you get paid because you can set a price.
Yeah.
And you can start doing that often enough as long as you still have the pieces that are there to provide what service that they think they're hiring you for.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool. But how do you integrate that with the music streaming service? I mean,
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
So what we've done is we put our stuff on SoundCloud. Simple.
yeah.
It's a free service, so anybody can check it out. And whenever we pitch our stuff, because if somebody wants to hire us, they want to
Yeah.
know, well, we want to hire you, but we're pitching you to a client, or
Yeah.
we want to hire you, but we don't know everything.
Yeah.
You've got to send them music.
Yeah.
SoundCloud's the easiest way for them to go ahead and click on doing that.
Yeah.
We've also used Bandcamp as well, which has a little bit more of a personalized type of touch to
Yeah.
it. More of like you could purchase if you wanted to, or you could give it away for free, or they even have a service that you can download it for free, but you'd have to provide an email address so that you're at least keeping up with the people that want to listen to your stuff.
Yes.
iTunes is obviously the bigger platform that everybody
Yeah.
knows about, but
Yeah.
there is an issue with iTunes because you need to set up your account, and if you're going to sell on iTunes, you typically not going to make your money back unless you're a large act that you're guaranteed to sell thousands and thousands of
Okay.
albums,
Okay.
because they won't cut you a check unless there's a certain amount of money, because they
Okay.
they can't cut $4.99 checks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be their only
Yeah.
business.
Your mother, your father, your sister, and your 2 cousins bought your album,
So here's your
but
money
you'll
back.
never see that money.
No, yeah.
Yeah. So they're not gonna cut you checks on that. So you just want to share it, and I
Yeah.
think using whatever free service right away
Yeah.
is the best way to get that done.
I would so agree with that, because people on online tend to go with the flow of what everybody's gonna hate, right? So everybody uses Spotify, but people talk a lot about how much they hate Spotify because it's the cool thing to do online, right? But I mean, you can either sit down and cry and whine and complain about how little they pay and all this, and it's true. I mean, I'm a producer. I do music, and I have never made a cent out of Spotify, right? But it is what is going on right now. So you either get in line and try to see how these new services and things work for you. You know, I mean, we live in a music era where you don't make money out of CDs anymore,
Right.
or out of records. You don't make money out of singles anymore. You don't make money out of music videos. I mean, now what MTV is what YouTube is now. right?
Correct. Yeah.
So, we don't make money out of that anymore. So you might as well use services that let you put your music out there for free. Even if they tell you, if they promise you they're going to give you a little money back.
Well, this is the thing too with Spotify that I do enjoy. Similarly to Facebook, if you're willing to spend some money, you can buy services that they provide on their platform. Facebook, obviously, you can really gear towards the specific people that you want to see your message. So if you don't like 65-year-olds coming to your show, and you don't like 14-year-olds coming to your show, then you can kind of put it in the range that you're interested in having those people. And Spotify even does similar things where they will put you on their homepage if you pay a certain service or fee.
Oh, that's really cool.
And so that people that come to their homepage will see your advertisement and then more than likely will click on what they're doing. And based on the music that they like,
they get suggestions.
They get suggested by bands that are in that genre.
That is, I mean, there's so much to learn on that thing.
That's what I'm saying. So the question is what do you do well? And so if you do not do music well often, let's say you've spent a few $1,000s, whether it's Hong Kong dollars or US dollars, you spent that just to make your album. Well, you've got to find another way but you take selfies all the time.
Yeah.
You've got to find a way to use what you do well in those selfies because you're not going to be able to go into the studio again because you just spent so much money on your album.
Yeah.
And you're probably not going to make that money back. So it's got to be there and you've got to have it easily accessible.
Yeah.
If you're charging money for an album with no fans, who's going to hear your music?
Exactly.
And then does it matter if you have all the promotion necessary? Nobody knows you, so they're not going to want to spend money to listen to you.
I've seen that happening so much. Like, okay, so here's my album, and then I'm just going to sell it. And then, but selling it at the beginning, I don't think is a viable strategy.
Most of the stuff that you do very well, you should give away for free.
Yes.
The stuff that you're an expert in, that's where you can find ways to monetize and sell and make some cash in because everybody can do a lot of things very well.
Yeah.
You know, so you're not too special. And so if you think you are, you're going to be sitting waiting for the money to come in and still eating your tuna fish and your maple syrup.
Exactly, man. I mean, it's what it is now. Like for me, like the best strategy for a new band would be do your music, invest in doing that, and just let it out there, and let's try to make money out of live performances.
That's where it is too. I think here more predominantly you get corporate gigs.
Yeah.
And there are companies here, multiple companies here that are making money because that is a viable business over here in Asia, especially if you have Westerners playing the music because it's kind of a novelty.
Yeah.
But what we're forgetting is that people still want that connection.
Yes.
And even if you put your music out online or you post a photo online or a video online, there's some connection there, but there's still a screen that's providing you, or a headphones that's providing you that access to connect with you, as opposed to being right there in front of them doing something. And if you're good enough at performing where you can evoke some sort of emotion from that audience member, then they're going to remember you.
Yeah.
And then they're going to be a fan of yours.
Of course.
And then they'll go and like your Facebook page. And then they'll go and whatever you want them to do that you're directing them to do. But that connection, that's the biggest thing. And I feel like sometimes we lose sight of that in this technology era.
Yeah. The thing is, like, everybody's trying to shoot to that very top, which is okay. But the thing is, like, it's like a pyramid, right? So let's say that the horizontal line, it's the attention span of people, right? So the lower you are in that pyramid, then you have more attention, right? But then the higher you are, then that attention gets narrower and narrower, right? So everybody's fighting for that attention. That little tip of that pyramid where Rihanna is, that little tip where Britney was, and she's trying to get back there, and that little tip where I don't know, Iggy Azalea and whoever, it's that little tip, and everybody's trying to fight for those 10 seconds of attention, right? And then everybody's trying to do outrageous stuff to get my 10 seconds, and my 10 seconds. It's for a new band. It is really hard to get up there to get 10 seconds, right? So just go the long run. Stay in the base of your pyramid and create your own little niche. You know, don't adjust your art to fit what you believe the taste of other people is. Create something and then let these people find you. You know, and then I mean, if you do a show and in this show you get one person that you connected with, and then on the next show that one person is there plus another person that you connect with, now you have two. You know, and this is quality. These are quality fans that are going to follow you. In that little tip of the pyramid, everybody's just like looking the other way, and then, oh, this person's doing something cool, and then you look to the right, and then, oh no, but now this other person's doing something really cool, and now we as humans, we're not that capable of paying attention to so many things at the same time.
And you notice it because you see it, and you see it because it's promoted well. And it's promoted well because they have bigger companies that are backing them.
Yeah.
And even these talents like Rihanna and Iggy Azalea, they've been still doing this for years.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't, they're not brand new at this.
Yeah.
Or else they wouldn't have the skill that they have
Yeah.
to be able to do it.
And they have the money muscle behind them. You know, they have that record label muscle.
Right. And it's still there. I mean, that they still run the industry. But fortunately now, if you have a passion to do these types of things, you're able to find a way to do it at that smaller scale, but still professionally.
Yeah.
Last year, I did not have a quote-unquote job.
Mm-hmm.
My job was the Anello. And I was able to supplement my income based on what we were doing for an entire year.
Yeah.
I've even moved into a new house.
Yeah.
With those types of things. And I can't guarantee, I say a house, but it's not, it's more of like a flat because we're in Hong Kong. If you had a house in Hong Kong, that'd be
you're
crazy.
Like, man, this guy is doing good.
Right. But it's, it's still an upgrade. And what you'll find is that all you really need is 1,000 people or so that love what you're doing and are willing to pay for what you provide.
Yeah.
And that's enough, actually. You don't need to be at the top of the pyramid.
That is, yeah.
You just need to basically be in your own pyramid. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Make your own pyramid, make your own world, your own niche. Find something
Yeah.
that works for you, maybe you're not able to do this and this and this and this and this, but you're able to do that.
Yeah.
And because you do that very well, you'll find people that are willing to support you and help you along in the journey. But it goes back to just being passionate
Yeah.
about it. I couldn't be in the position that I'm in today or have done anything that I had previously done that we talked about if I didn't have the passion for it.
It's impossible.
It's impossible. It wouldn't have happened.
I mean, the things that as an artist you have to go through, you better love that shit. I mean, you better love that thing. Yeah, man. All right, brother. So I'm gonna let you get out of here. I know you have a little commitment right after. Okay, so if people want to say hi to you, people want to follow the Anello, if people want to hear the music of the Anello, where do they go to?
Yes. First of all, thank you for having me on. I think
It's absolutely my pleasure, man.
I feel like we should do this again.
Yes.
I've got a million things that I could talk about. So as long as you want me on, I'll come back.
Doors are open. You just call me, dude. I'm heading over. Set up the mic.
I appreciate it. But yeah, you could check out the Anello, TheAnello at Facebook. You could also check out the Anello on Instagram. We have Twitter. We are also going to establish a Snapchat. Now that I said it, we have to.
Sweet.
So those platforms will be there. But more importantly, theanello.com, and you can sign up to the Anello News, and you can keep in touch with our newsletter that we're going to be sending out about all the fun projects that we're doing. I didn't even get a chance to tell you about all the fun projects that we're going to be doing, but
shoot.
if you get a chance to go on theanello.com and sign up to the newsletter, you'll hear about everything that we're doing, including some pop presentations where I'll be teaching people how to better perform for whatever life kind of throws at you in terms of how to speak well with people.
Yeah, that's the swag juice 101, right?
Yeah, right. You can get some of that swag juice. You could check out more information about that there, including I'd love to get you on my podcast once I have that up and running.
Let's do it. I'm in.
And then even some video courses for some of these things about how to perform. And it's all about the people. So you can sign up and you can like the Facebook page, but I even suggest, I recommend, I implore anybody who wants to, they can contact me directly at theanelloofficial@gmail.com. And you can shoot me any questions you have, any ideas that you have. If you've been a fan, if you're a new fan, if you're not a fan, I'll accept them and I'll reply back as best as possible with a suitable answer. But I think that's part of it. We have this. We have these platforms, and we can't just expect people to go.
Yeah.
We also need to expect people to, get information from us as well.
Yes,
so
definitely.
I'm so happy to be on this and share with your fans and your friends and all your family.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have a million of those people. Everything that I'm doing, I thank you for inviting me.
Of course, brother. I mean, I wish you the best of luck. I mean, I'm wishing you luck because I have to. You don't need it. The band is amazing. Listen to the freaking Anello. It's really cool. It's original. It's different. Most of all, and most importantly, it's art, which at the end of the day is what we're doing here. So, brother, thank you for talking to me, man.
Thanks so much, man.
All right. Hey everyone, thank you so much for listening to my conversation with Jeff. This was a incredibly fun, fascinating talk with him. And the crazy thing is that we spoke for almost an hour and a half. But before we started recording, we must have spoken for like 40 minutes before. And then after I pressed stop, we spoke for like another hour. And this is how it is. I mean, it was such a fascinating conversation. We're definitely gonna have Jeff back. It was a fun one. Thank you so much for all of you who have been listening to this podcast. I'm already out of the studio. It's a beautiful day. It's not too sunny. It's not too hot. We get a little bit of wind. I'm pretty sure you can hear a little bit of the traffic in the background though. But I'm just walking here along the Hong Kong harbor, and it's a very, very nice day. It was a very eventful week for me. I used to perform every Wednesday at a place called Club 97, and I had been playing there for many years, about 10 years, every Wednesday, and the place closed down, and it finally it's over, and it's a little sad, it's a little bittersweet, but it was most of all, we are filled with gratitude for the time that we had there, and of course new things are going to happen. Now I want to share with you something that happened with me there. Something that probably I'm not too proud of. But I can say that I'm a little... The only thing that I can be proud of is the fact that I noticed my mistake before it was too late. Now, we are in an area called Lan Kwai Fong in Hong Kong, which is where most of the bars are, where all the crazy people go and get drunk. We're there. It's the last day before they close down this place, and I see from far there's this guy with a very very tight shirt and with a V-neck, but it was a very deep V-neck. So the V would open up in his neck and close down all the way down to his belly button, right? And now this guy was ripped. He was jacked. So this shirt was really tight, and the guy had no hair chest whatsoever. So it was a pretty boy, and I didn't like him already, just because of what he looked, but just because of what he was wearing, which is not right. But I'm being honest with you guys here. Now he was wearing that. He was wearing a very, very, very tight pants and a belt with a big buckle and some pointy, I'd say crocodile snake skin. I don't know, one of those. And he looked like I didn't like him just because of the way he looked. Maybe he was a nice guy. You never know. But at that moment, I'm being honest with you. Don't cut me some slack here. So, after a while, I'm trying to pass by, and guess who's in the middle? That same guy. And he was there, and he was dancing. And I didn't like it. So, I tell the guy, excuse me. And the guy didn't hear me. And then I say, excuse me again. The guy didn't hear me. So, by the third time, I just pushed myself through. I mean, not in a way that he would fall or anybody would break a neck, but you know, it was a hard push enough. So I just pushed myself through, squeezed myself, and I passed by, and I did whatever I needed to do on the other side. On my way back, I could see him just shaking his head in disapproval of what I just did. And I looked at him and I just shrugged my shoulders, saying like, hey, you know, that face when you go like, hey, I was telling you, but you didn't move. The guy just comes really close to me. No, actually, I turned around and I left. No, I'm trying to remember the story as I'm telling it to you. I turn around, I leave, and as I'm leaving, the guy just shouts at me in perfect Spanish. He says, you should say excuse me. But he said that as I was leaving. Right? So I just turn around and in perfect Spanish, I grab his shoulder and his ear. I answer in perfect Spanish. I answer, I asked 3 times that you didn't fucking move. Now things started getting heated up. And, but it was really quick. We got heated up really fast, and then we just stopped. And he said like, oh, whatever, and then we just stopped arguing. And then I went my way, he went his way. And I kind of stayed with that in my head throughout the whole night. And then I was thinking, and I was an asshole. I was a little bit of an asshole. I had to admit that, because he didn't do anything to me. I did push him. He should have been out the way, but it's a place where you dance. The music is loud. You're not gonna hear me. So I give him that. Second, after more of better thought through moment, I have to admit that part of my pushing had to do because of what he was wearing. I didn't like him because of what he was wearing. What an ass. What an ass. So I felt bad enough. I went all the way to where the guy was. And I just shook his hand and I said, brother, I'm really sorry if I pushed you. And then he said, it's okay, it's fine. And we hugged it out. And that was it. That was the end of the night. In that sense, we saw each other in the bar a few times, and it was all good. We shook hands. We kind of smiled, and that was it. I don't think he'll be my friend. I don't think it's gonna be somebody that I'm gonna be calling to see how he is. But I was an asshole, and I'm a little proud of the fact that I at least could see that I didn't act properly while I was still at the bar, and that I could be, man enough to go and say, dude, I'm sorry, I did push you, and I shouldn't have. So this is the kind of things, that as human beings we need to try to be a little bit better every now and then. And we're not going to be perfect. I'm pretty sure this might happen again in my life. I'm going to try not to. But yeah. I'm proud of what I did at the end, but I'm not proud of what happened at the beginning. Anyway, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this episode and my conversation with Jeff from the Anello. You have to check that band out. Guys, please follow, and subscribe on iTunes or SoundCloud or Stitcher, whatever you prefer. Just go there and search for Making a Record Podcast. You can also follow on Twitter, which is, the Twitter handle is MA Record Pod. MA Record Pod, because Making a Record Podcast was taken. No, it was not. Making a Record was taken, and Making a Record Podcast. I don't know. It didn't let me. It didn't let me go that way. So just go to MA Record Pod, and also follow us on Facebook. We're gonna be posting a lot of really cool stuff. I have some really nice and fun guests coming out on the podcast on the next few weeks. And thanks again, guys. I really appreciate you. And I am definitely going to be talking to you next week. Have a great, awesome end of the week and beginning of the next one. Kick some ass and do something you're going to be proud of. And I'll talk to you guys soon.